and welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne and LaFlamme, and I'm here with Rich Riedman from Riedman Workflow Design. Rich and his company will help customers improve their warehouse and inventory management. So I'm going to give Rich a couple minutes to talk about his business and what he does.
Hey, thank you, Joanne. Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here. I work with warehousing clients. I've been doing so for the past 30 years. And what I try and do is implement technology solutions for warehouse to improve productivity and improve the workflow. EPMS is a great opportunity where I've worked with a number of EPMS customers to implement a solution, a hardware solution that involves barcode scanning and technology to implement on a handheld computer to scan in and really extend the reach of EPMS into the warehouse to improve productivity.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we have a barcode scanning interface called the PT barcode interface. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today and do a demo of today.
Right.
In order to use that interface, of course, you have to purchase the interface from EPMS Connect, and you have to purchase, from EPMS, and you have to also purchase EPMS Connect. With those two pieces from us, Rich, maybe you can talk a little bit about what they'd have to purchase from you to get the whole solution to work.
Sure. What I do is provide a bundled solution that includes the hard code, the hardware, scanning, and the software that runs on this particular device, which is a hardened device for the warehouse environment. So it can be dropped, it's secure against dust and moisture. I also include the software that runs on this device, as well as the software that runs in the back end, and that connection software then interfaces to the EPMS connection. And between the two pieces, as well as what I do is I provide the training involved, implementation help and assistance along the way, as well as a lot of times I'll go into a warehouse and give suggestions on how to improve the workflow as part of that. As part of that, show that there is a business case that will improve productivity and generate savings from implementing a barcoding solution.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a few minutes to take a look at the PT barcode scanner interface from the EPMS's side, and then we'll actually barcode some transactions.
Okay, great.
Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to open up our little interface here and log into it. And this interface is actually a Windows service, which means this is going to be installed on a workstation in your network, preferably a server, something that's going to be on all the time, because it is a Windows service. It's just going to sit there running in the background, waiting for those transactions to come in.
Right.
So this little interface here is where you set it up. This first field is our import interval. So you can tell the service how often you want to check. If you want to do it every 5 minutes, every 1 minute as I have it, 10 minutes, whatever you want to set that at, you can determine how often you want that service to check. It also has the connection information to your EPMS Connect web service. And then if you want to have email notifications when the transactions come in, you can have it notify you as well.
Right, great.
Okay? You could do 4 different types of transactions. You could do an adjustment, you can do a deduction, you can do a transfer, and you can even do a sort of like a reset of your on-hand, where you put in your on-hand count and it will update that on-hand when you do a physical count of inventory.
Right, and so each one of those transactions there's a separate screen for each one of those transactions that runs on the handheld. So I think we're going to try and do one of those transactions now, aren't we?
Okay, let's quickly come over here and take a look at the screens, and then we'll go over to the barcode scanner. We do have a little window here that kind of mimics what's on the barcode scanner. Now these are basically, there's 4 sections here for the 4 transactions, and these are 4 separate screens on the handheld. And Rich is going to kind of go through a couple of these transactions, kind of entering this information through the barcode scanner.
Right. So I think we were going to try and do the deductions field first.
Sure.
Okay, so why don't we do a deductions. I'm going to simulate what it would be in the warehouse. Somebody, say, to move some finished goods. Let's move a certain quantity of finished goods. So
should we show the finished good first online here?
Yeah,
so
that's
we can
a good idea.
So
we can see the adjustment after we do the transaction. That's
so let me minimize this, and I'll open up finished goods, and let me get down to let's see, my customer finished good items, and we'll look at this thank you card. where we have 879 in here right now. So let's deduct some.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to take material code and I'm going to do a deduction here. And so I'm going to scan as I scan in the item, the material code, and then I'm going to change it from finished goods. Now this would primarily be on a location up in a warehouse, you know, that I have my warehouse outfitted with locations and slot numbers. So then I'm going to move that, and then I'm going to put in a quantity to deduct. I'm going to put in the job number, scan in the job number, and I'm going to scan in the component number, and I'm going to put in a quantity to deduct of 500. And then once I've done that, I hit the submit key. There we go. Yes, submit. Done. Complete.
Okay. Great. Now that's going to go to our tables. We have
Right.
a kind of a temporary table in our database that it
Right.
takes the transaction in, and then the Windows service is going to pick it up, but it's going to take a minute or 5 minutes or whatever to pick that up.
Right.
Okay.
See that, and then we'll see the corresponding change on the inventory.
Right.
Okay, great.
Okay. So enough time's gone by. It
Right.
should have updated the database. Let's take a look.
Right. I think you had it at 5-minute interval.
Correct. So here we are back at Enterprise. Here's our thank you card, and if we look at our quantity on hand now, it was $879. We deducted $500. It's now $379. If we come over and look at our deductions, we can see it added the deduction for the material code, the quantity of 500, and for the job number that we entered.
Great.
Okay.
How about we do a transfer next? Is that okay?
Sounds good.
Okay,
What are
great.
we going to transfer?
Okay, we're going to transfer a certain amount of material code from the warehouse location into the shop floor.
Okay.
So we're going to take 1,000. We're going to move 1,000.
Okay. Well, let's go look at it in Enterprise and
let's
open
get
it first.
Yeah, let me give me the part number you want to do.
All right. So I'm going to close finished goods,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll minimize this little interface.
Right.
And we'll go into inventory, and we'll do this top item here. If we look at what we have right now, it looks like we've got in our warehouse 1 location, we've got 5,950. So we'll transfer, you said 1,000 of those into
Yeah.
the shop floor.
Okay, so that's the transaction I'll do. So
Okay.
I'll go in, pull up the transfer. And once again, it looks like what it does on the screen, but so we'll transfer, I'll scan in the material code, and then I'll transfer in the from location, warehouse, and then I will transfer in the transfer to the shop floor. And then I will put the quantity, and we'll make that 1,000. And then we'll hit 1,000. And then we'll hit submit. Submit, yes, done. So
Okay.
it should be now, it will transfer once again. This transfers into the Tracer Plus Connect program, which will then interface to the EPMS Connect.
Right, which again takes a few minutes,
Right.
you know, depending on what you've set your interval to.
Right.
Okay, so we probably have updated the database now.
Right.
Let's go take a look.
See if it,
All right, so we still have the 5,950, but if I click on this ... button here, it should show me what I have, and now I only have the 4,950 in the warehouse location, but 1,000 have transferred to the shop floor location.
great, great.
And as we mentioned, we can do an adjustment if you need to adjust something, and if you also, there's a screen to update your on-hand.
Right.
And if you do that, when you enter a quantity, you put in the exact quantity you have on hand. When that goes into EPMS Connect will check that against what you already have and will actually put in an adjustment to adjust it to the right number. So it doesn't reset anything,
Right.
it just does the appropriate adjustment, but lets you put in the quantity as the overall on-hand quantity.
Right, right. And so the big benefit here is that this whole solution extends EPMS, as I said before, into the warehouse. And by doing so, you're doing the transaction directly at the point of where you're scanning it. And when you scan, it's going in 100% of the time accurately.
Right.
Okay, so that's going to save you. It's going to reduce your error in terms of input errors. It's going to improve your inventory accuracy, which allows you to reduce perhaps capital invested in inventory. So it will improve the order fulfillment process. So overall, there's big savings here by doing it, using scanning technology, extending it, and extending EPMS out into the warehouse where it can be used more productively.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I think that's it. It really covers. It's a simple solution, easy to implement, and works very well with the EPMS solutions.
Awesome. And as with anything with EPMS, if with Enterprise, if there's additional transactions or additional fields or additional functionality that's needed with our interface, customers can let us know. And if it's something specific to them, we might need to do something as a custom interface, or we can enhance our standard interface. It may or may not be chargeable, but of course, we're open to hearing the requests and making a solution for them. So.
And look forward to working with a number of other EPMS customers to implement some really great solutions and save them some money.
Great. Well, thank you, and thank you for joining us for another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Joanne LaFlamme. I'm here with Rich Riedman from Riedman Workflow Design, and again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.